The wedding that started a tribal war. Long ago, beneath the golden skies of the African savannah, two neighboring communities had lived as bitter enemies for generations. Every family carried memories of loss. Every elder remembered stories of bloodshed. The hatred had lasted so long that no one believed peace was possible. At last, the two chiefs decided enough was enough. To end the conflict forever, they agreed that the daughter of one chief would marry the son of the other. Their union would become a symbol of peace, binding the two communities together for generations to come. The bride was Amani, a young woman admired for her beauty, kindness, and courage. The groom was Baraka, the proud son of the rival chief, raised to become the next great leader. To everyone else, the marriage was a blessing, but Amani carried a secret. Long before the wedding was arranged, she had fallen deeply in love with Jabari, a humble warrior whose bravery was known throughout the land. Though he came from a respected family, he held no royal title and possessed little wealth. Yet his gentle heart had captured Amani's, in a way no promise of power ever could. For months, they met in secret beneath the shade of ancient acacia trees, dreaming of a future they both knew could never exist. Each meeting made their love stronger. Each farewell became more painful. As the wedding day drew near, Amani struggled between obeying her family and following her heart. Finally, the day arrived. The village burst into celebration. Women sang joyful songs while warriors danced with spears held high. Drums echoed across the plains as elders gathered to witness the sacred ceremony. Colorful beads sparkled beneath the morning sun, and gifts of cattle were exchanged between the two chiefs. Everything was prepared. Nothing could go wrong. Then, the village elder asked the bride the question everyone had been waiting to hear. Do you accept this marriage? The celebration fell silent. Amani looked toward Baraka, whose face was filled with hope. Then she searched the crowd until her eyes found Jabari. With tears filling her eyes, she took a deep breath. I cannot. The words struck the gathering like thunder. Before anyone could react, Amani ran through the crowd and reached Jabari. Together, they fled across the open savannah as shocked guests watched in silence. Moments later, silence turned into outrage. Baraka's father stood and declared that his family had been dishonored before the entire land. Chief Njoroge, ashamed that his daughter had rejected the sacred agreement, demanded that she be brought back. Within hours, warriors armed themselves. The marriage, meant to unite two communities, instead reopened old wounds that had never truly healed. The first spear flew before sunset. Soon, the peaceful grasslands echoed with the sounds of battle. Villages burned beneath columns of smoke. Families fled into the wilderness, carrying only what they could hold. Children cried as homes that had stood for generations disappeared in flames. Hidden among the hills, Amani and Jabari watched the destruction with heavy hearts. Neither had wished for this. Their love had never been meant to bring suffering. As they looked across the burning horizon, Amani whispered, "If our love helped start this war, then we must find a way to end it." Jabari nodded. Together, they returned to face the very people they had run away from. When the two armies gathered for one final battle, the air was thick with anger. Warriors stood shoulder to shoulder, with shields raised and spears ready. The chiefs prepared to give the order to attack. Just as the battle was about to begin, Amani walked into the empty space between the two armies. Jabari stood beside her. Every warrior watched in silence. "If our love is the reason you are fighting," Amani cried, then let our lives be the last price that is paid. But do not let another child lose a parent because of hatred. The wind swept across the plains. No one moved. Baraka stepped forward, his anger slowly giving way to sorrow. Looking at the frightened faces around him, he finally understood that revenge would only create more pain. Without speaking a word, he lowered his spear. One by one, the other warriors followed. The chiefs looked around and realized there would be no victory that day, only more loss if they continued. Slowly, they laid down their weapons. The war ended not because one side was stronger than the other, but because forgiveness proved more powerful than revenge. Years passed. The scars of the conflict slowly healed. Children from both communities played together beneath the same acacia trees where fear had once divided their families. Trade returned, friendships grew, and laughter replaced the sounds of war. People would remember that day for generations, not as the wedding that destroyed peace, but as the moment when love, courage, and forgiveness